For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel. Cayman's bigger, better network.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Hey, good morning. I say it right today. Good morning. How is everybody? Trust and pray you had an excellent weekend. Well, Mr. Ort hopefully is enjoying his well-deserved little reprieve from the studios here and perhaps even the shores. Maybe put me on a bicycle. I could almost look like him. Well, he has, great enthusiasm and energy, and we wish him continued health as he enjoys himself. Well, welcome to For the Record, and we certainly want you to be a part of it. Mr. Steve Myfield will get to us around about 8:30. The plan is for Director of the Department of Environmental Health to join us for a bit, and we have a discussion. But why don't we celebrate with each other? Right, Miss Susan? I'll see what I can do to bring her on board. You got to have some fun in the morning. Wake up, everybody. Wake up, wake up. I don't know. She's asking me, what are you drinking? This is what I'm not drinking. Coconut water with a little splash of this and a little splash of that. Well, it's good to be alive, and I welcome each and every one of you, trusting that you enjoyed the weekend as best as we can. It isn't without an understanding and appreciation and acknowledgement that it's a trying time, and we are continually reminded to keep, each other in prayer, especially those who are mourning the loss of their loved ones. And as much as I am, energetic and enthusiastic and thankful, grateful and gracious, I do extend my sincerest condolences. So that is, the way we find ourselves sometimes, trying to wear multiple, so no. Well, the phone lines are available to give us, your perspective. But first, why? So, Miss Susan, what do we do? Our birthday shout-outs. A number of phrases I don't like. That's one of them. But I have to read what is written. Well, special birthday greetings for the record here. Brought to you by Pizza Boat. Now open in the Queen's Court on Westbury Road. Hop on board, they say, the Pizza Boat Express. Pizza Boat Moix, Cayman Pizza. Even more fun. You can do your pickup, you can do your delivery. Just dial 94940. 9490000. Or you can order online if you like. pizzaboat.ky. Well, let's see. Who's celebrating their birthday today, Miss Susan? Are you celebrating your birthday today? No? Let me see.
Absolutely. Right. No, I'm not. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, listeners, viewers.
Why not? I celebrate my birthday every day. And our good friend from DEH, how are you? We'll see you shortly. I was expecting you at 7:30. Alrighty. Well, we'll see where it goes. It's going to be fun. So you want me and you, or you and me? How does it go over the English to do the birthdays?
You and I.
You and I? You sure? And I and you?
No, it's you and I.
My coach always said there's no I in team, so maybe they can be I and you. Let's see how that takes us. All right, so birthday greetings, right? And for all those who have or will celebrate their birthday, we're going to join them. Birthdays.
Okay, Carmela Watson celebrating a birthday today. That name sounds very familiar.
Oh, yeah, Miss Carmela. Happy birthday to her, right?
Right. Also, tomorrow will be Sabrina Wong. She's celebrating her birthday tomorrow.
Tomorrow? We should start from today.
She probably did.
Yeah. Hey, listen, every day is a birthday. So we got Miss Carmela, Miss Serena doing tomorrow. Okay, who else we got, Miss Susan?
You're going to make me do all of them. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Hey, just hold on, just so you know. Did you not hear our caller say, doesn't she have a fantastic voice? I did not, we not hear that. Yes or no?
I did hear that,
Yeah,
yes.
there you go. I hear it all the time.
So you're going to capitalize on it. Okay.
Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom.
So Trudy and Petey, they're going to be sending belated birthday greetings to Miss Noreen Connolly. She celebrated birthday, I believe, over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And also belated birthday greetings to Joy, Terry, Tessa, and Terry from Jewel.
It's beautiful when your friends and your family not just remind you. If you might, really came on, for those of us who've been around longer than 10 years, right? Remember the greetings we used to have in you there? You would write in, you would listen, you get your birthday announced, and it was all excitement. You had to do it by actually writing something. Some would type probably, the little fancier ones that accessed an office.
They would show up at the studio
Oh, they were sure.
and say, please read these requests for me. And we would gladly oblige.
Always, and we all gathered around to listen to it.
But we've moved on now to text and also voice notes and send it by WhatsApp. Yeah.
And the thing is, to those who recognize it, it's important to do that. But the one thing, despite the electronic and the impersonal that may come with technology, Radio Came On always makes it personable. You always have that little flair, that feeling, that sense of love. And I just like it. It's just great for us. But I remember a time when, and I don't know if this was true or not, but I think it's part of our urban legend. This probably is true. Someone sent a birthday request to someone, and they were still outside, and they were, rushing to get it. And they said, don't worry, I'll turn the radio off, so when you get inside, it'll be ready. You think that was true? She's like, oh, you heard that story too. All right. Well, listen, if your birthday wasn't announced today and you're celebrating it, well, prayerfully, we wish you a very happy, healthy, and enjoyable birthday. And Pizza Boat Express, right? Pizza Boat. You like pizza? I like pizza. Not everyone likes pizza. Pizza with anchovies and pineapple. Sweet pizza. Pizza with just the right flavor. Well, check out Pizza Boat Express. Right there in Queens Court. 949-000. 4 zeros after that, 949. Or pizzaboat.ky for that text savvy online ordering. Well, I know it's summer and we're into that month of August, and some of us are like, Monday morning, the weather don't look too bad. It's a good day to go fishing. So, was that yesterday? I thought it was Friday. It looked like it's, and it's interesting. I was part of some discussions, listening to some people, and to see some of the Caribbean nations, gradually move. We see the growing sort of affinity that it would appear that our tourism minister has with Barbados, and the example of, Miss Mia Motley on the world stage. Well, it shows what, you can do when you put your mind to it and you're mature. So for those out there, 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp 925-3261. It's the numbers we like you to use for all of our talk shows, and specifically right now here on For the Record. Come back for Talk Today. Use those same numbers. You can even WhatsApp call 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. It's increasingly important for a people to be able to appreciate, access, and ensure that it speaks its voice publicly. To see that increasingly happen in the Cayman is great. To see a government being not just mindful, not just being reminded, but through its endeavors, ensuring that the platforms are there for its populace to be able to speak. Now, this particular show offers up very, 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 invaluable opportunity for our people, because it's designed deliberately to be able to allow people to speak more politically, more candidly about it. Mr. Art, with his wealth of experience, both in government and serving within the community, his academic prowess, and allowing people to be able to sort of continually question certain things, and the way he facilitates the discussions without question is very nurturing. So we take a page, from his book, and we extend that invitation now for all of us to do just that. So when a government of the day ensures that, as we do through Radio Cayman, requisite funding to keep the airwaves open, and that almost seemingly decade plus effort to bring what is now Radio Cayman to fruition, as we knock on 50 years almost of operation, for a very, very small nation, and for the visionary approach of the people of the time. Like so much, we can easily take for granted where we are in Cayman, because for sometimes, we don't necessarily share publicly the challenges that transpire and have transpired, because for us, it's for, maybe the history books footnote, but perhaps we're doing ourselves a disservice. So let's have you share your thoughts with us. 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free with the compliments of flow at 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp, whether you record a voice note, whether you send something that is for us to read, or whether you call 925-3261. I raise my coffee glass to you, and just enjoy the wonderful day that lies ahead. So, I know many don't always appreciate, sometimes, the rain until it's a drought. Some don't even value the blazing sunshine until they're in a frigid cold. As the song reminds us, you only miss something after it's gone. But how many of us actually consciously, deliberately, intentionally ensure that we appreciate every moment, every breath, that we can draw, every step that we can, sort of even just amble our way to the door or to the window to look out. I was reminded just last evening by some young people of a story where, they were sitting with this elderly gentleman, and, he was telling of a time, presumably, where he was in a place, and every day that he visited, the individual would share what he would, see the day before. It turns out that, here is a person that not only was blind, but was in a space where the window was so small and so dark and, so high that even if he could see, he would not be able to see outside. But if he did see outside, it wouldn't be the lush greenery. It wouldn't be the birds fluttering about on the trees. It'd just be another blank concrete wall separated by a small dirty alley. It wasn't a running stream. It wasn't a raging brook. But yet, in this man's mind, he created these scenes to help him to appreciate, what he once had, the freedoms that he took for granted, the abilities at one time in his earlier youth to be able to run, jump, to be able to do things. The same, sort of skills that he used to evade, law enforcement, to commit the criminal behavior that landed him in that solitary confinement, but for the waning days of his health. Now, it's not just a story that may be fanciful. Perhaps it's a metaphor for our lives. As we pause and take this short break, please join us back for the record.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Mary Genevieve Bawden, 1914 to 1992.
Miss Genevieve was a dedicated Sunday school teacher and Cub Scout captain. She was active in the Christian Endeavor Society of the Presbyterian Church. When she passed her first examination in Jamaica, she began teaching under the guidance of Mr. T.F. Hill. She left the government school system for a time and ran a private school in her home from 1930 to 1944. She received higher education in Jamaica and in New Zealand, Barbados, and Wales. Ms. Genevieve served as head teacher in the government schools in West Bay, Northside, and Savannah, and also taught in Cayman Brac and Georgetown. When she retired, she was executive officer in the Department of Education.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
All aboard the Pizza Boat! Cayman's newest pizzeria. Birthday parties, office luncheons, summer camps, game night. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat. And Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
It's a 24-karat summer with Digicel. In honor of our first truly COVID-free summer, Digicel is giving away $24,000. Be one of 10 to win $2,400 this July. For a chance to win, all you have to do is switch to Digicel, activate a Prime bundle, or simply pay your bill on time. It's that easy. It takes 2 minutes to get $2,400 richer. Make the choice to win today and visit a Digicel store near you.
System 1 loaded.
1-800
And welcome back. Wow. You see what it's like? I just love being alive. Thank God for life. Well, welcome back for the record, and we're going to invite you to be a part of our discussion. You can call us, 949-8037. You can call us on 949-6990. You can also dial the Flow toll-free line at 1-800-534-TALK. That's 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp. You can call it 925-3261. You can message it. You can send a voice note, which we have now. So let's play our voice note.
Good morning, good morning. Thanks for the memory. I can so remember back in the day, as a teenager even, maybe younger, rushing to Radio Cayman to hand in that little envelope with the birthday request for them to read it. And you had to catch them in time or you had to wait till tomorrow. That was wonderful. Thanks for the memory.
And thank you to that listener for reminding us of how fond it was. And if you didn't appreciate it, maybe now because you weren't of that age to recall it, maybe in the jurisdiction in which you lived, born, worked, or were at the time, it was a big bustling place. Well, here, that was a big deal. And I'm telling you, even now, if he doesn't mind me, hail him up on air, our very own Joel Wilson does that. Many times he would say, Happy Earth Strong. Where's that effect? Celebrating a birthday is important. Whether you do it quietly and prayerfully, whether you do it very publicly and in a bit of, an ostentatious way, hey, that's your calling. It's a day to be celebrated as you invite others. So, thanks to that listener for bringing us some joy and some fond memories. Well, remember now, Pizza Boat now open in Queen's Court. That's right on the West Bay Road. You can, as they say, hop on board the Pizza Boat Express, and you can get pizza in a very fun way. Delivery or pickup, 949-0000, or online ordering, pizzaboat.ky. And again, a blessed happy birthday to each and every one of us celebrating. And however your heart, may be laden at this time, we got to see another day, and for me and others who are prayerful and joyful and thankful, with a day comes perhaps hope, and with a sense of hope and hopeful expectation, well, we might just have an opportunity to do something good for somebody else, even if it's not for our own. One of the things that I enjoyed with listening to Mr. Art in the morning, and many times we are either driving to get to somewhere, or we're coming from somewhere, or we are still battling traffic to get where it is that we were going or coming from. He has that positive energy, and as he closes out his shows, he says, well, we are a brother's keeper, as he's reminding us through the day not only to be cognizant and conscious and considerate and careful, cautious on our roads, as we are contributing to our communities in that very constructive way. We are also, if he doesn't mind me sharing his actions and energy, aside, he's the active age, right? And when you get to live and work, and then I don't want to say retire, I would say perhaps retreat to another endeavor. If you are still able to move about, your mind is still agile and active, you get to continue. Now, perhaps our communities at one time used to be a little bit more involved and respectful when it comes to those who are our senior. I feel it's something that we can revisit. Well, let's take this call. Hey, good afternoon. Good morning. Got you, Miss Susan. It is morning. How are you today? How are you? How are you?
Yeah.
Oh, that one was, consciously and deliberate, but I'll be honest with you, all the other ones to say, remind me that's the AM, I had to really focus. So, laughter goes a long way. I'm glad that you are here. How are you?
I'm blessed,
Amen.
I said you can't be in two places at the same time, but I guess you're in two places in one day.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, man, I'm glad that I can be,
Not the same time, but one day, different time.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that country song, Trying to Love Two Women It's like a ball and chain. Sometimes the pleasure ain't worth the pain, you see. But that's okay.
You probably love two women, but you not tell them about anything.
Well, wait, too. I mean, nah, just kidding. No, my love is so big that I can't. And that's the agape love. Right? I look at my mother and my daughter and, very close friends. So it's all good. Lots of love to go around. Love makes the world go around.
I never heard you talk about your mama.
Yeah. She, a strong-minded, independent lady. And as she gets on in years sometimes, I hope she don't mind me saying, but, and I say this to all of us, the way sometimes the mind gets because of, old people used to call old-timers, we talk about dementia, Alzheimer's, it can take its toll on us, not just when we, of years, but, to watch them go through that sometimes, it's challenging, It's very challenging. The frustrations not to be as independent as they one were. The frustrations with perhaps not being able to recall, words and things as they could very sharply. The frustrations of perhaps not being able to get up and go as they think they can. So you have to love one another the same, boy, and be strong as you can, So it's good.
How you could remember her when I had to remind you that you had a mama? Joking.
I know.
Yeah. How was he on vacation or?
Boy, I almost want to joke and say no. He was seconded to MI6 headquarters for additional training in order to facilitate the upcoming election. Whereby, no, this kid. No, he is.
So he off for good now then, or for temporary, or even for election too?
No. Boy, they say when you're not present, they can talk all bad about you, but no, respectfully, he is. If he doesn't mind, it's just a perception. He's, God's willing, will be back on Friday. But something he, like my father, like, many men, and of course, he's just a few years older than me, a lot younger than my father, but people who have worked to that age where they can sort of step back from formally having to go to work. They still remain very active. So, whereas now he is at that stage in age, he still gets to travel, he still gets to go fishing, stay up maybe past 9 to play a little game of dominoes, perhaps sleeping beyond 5 a.m. to rest a bit. So he got a couple of days off and to enjoy it, which is well earned and well deserved, man. So we got to look forward to that as well.
Mm-hmm. And you fit in right. And you fit right in the spot.
Well, I try to keep the chair warm, yeah. Man, it's a good day.
I was listening to this. Well, actually, I didn't listen to the recording of it. I didn't listen to it live at that time. But one young man was talking about that he went to prison, and he was doing some work there, like cleaning or something.
Yeah.
Some prison officer.
That was when they called us to talk today.
Like a job or something.
Yeah, you were referring to when they called us to talk today the other day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, So...
Well, what you expect when you hire people that come from a country that has bigger crime than the Cayman Islands, what do you think you're hiring? They come in here, a lot of them come here, but they're bigger criminals than them up in Northward,
We are...
Just that they can, when sometimes they come from the countries that they can get everything fixed up so nice, their records and everything, and they've been here, that thing from long way back there.
Mm-hmm.
But, anyway, our people can't help themselves. You understand? So, that's different.
All right.
What I was saying, the system there now, like, so he's talking, like,
okay.
Was fixing up whatever or doing some work there or whatever. So what about the people that, the prisoners now, and they got to, like, they're teaching them to do a trade when they come out now, when they can be, like, a little certificate or whatever. How do they do that?
It's as a discussion that I think we need to have more and more. And if you would allow me to perhaps use that as leverage to again reach out to the requisite entity in order to have that discussion. But there are some programs within the prisons and perhaps not sufficiently publicly, sort of proclaimed. We're going to go to our scheduled break, and let me just ask you there. We can pick it up again later. And all right, stay tuned.
Thank you, Sterling. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
All right, class, pay attention. School is back in session, and it's time to get back to school ready with Foster's.
Foster's is embracing school spirit with all the essentials like backpacks, stationery, lunch kits, and more.
And online, treat yourself to our useful back-to-school lunch ideas at livewell.fosters.ky to turn fresh and healthy into full and focused.
And any parents hoping to spend more time at home, there's always fresh delivery from Foster's Go.
Think you got all of that? We'll test you on it later.
Get ready for a great fresh start with Foster's.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Women are reportedly being groped during their commute on public buses. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service says it's gotten a number of complaints after a series of incidents were reported, with women saying they were inappropriately touched by another passenger while traveling on a public bus. There are 2 separate incidents being investigated with officers from the Protective Services Unit. However, police suspect there are several other incidents that have gone unreported. If you've been assaulted in this manner while traveling on a public bus, you're encouraged to call 649-2930 and leave a message with your full name and contact details. Legislative changes could be on the way to help deal with some term limit issues regarding the Public Lands Commission. The recently published Public Lands Amendment and Validation Amendment Bill 2023, if passed by Parliament, will amend the laws it relates to, among other things, the composition and terms of appointment of the members of the Public Lands Commission. The bill is also designed to validate those appointments, particularly of 2 commission members. The bill would repeal and substitute a section to provide for the chairperson to be a Caymanian appointed by Cabinet, apart from the Caymanian members appointed under the subsection regarding membership of the commission. This will also set Cabinet as responsible to appoint the deputy chairperson from among the 6 Caymanian members of the commission, representing the 6 districts. Clause 2 removes the term limits for commission members by providing that members, after the expiry of their initial 2-year term, may be reappointed for additional 2-year terms without a limit set on the number of times they can be reappointed. The bill then goes on to say the, quote, acts or omissions of the 2 commission members shall not be regarded as invalid by reasons only of the appointment being for a period beyond the term permitted under the Principal Act, that is the period following the expiry of their appointments, which was on December 1st, 2021, up to the date on which the Amending and Validating Act comes into force. Clause 4 of the bill provides that the commission shall not be regarded as improperly constituted from also December 1st, 2021, up to the commencement of this act, because the reappointment of 2 commission members is beyond the expiry of their second 2-year term. The Public Lands Commission was created back in 2017, designed to regulate the use and enjoyment of public lands by members of the public. And Cayman's leaders mark Jamaica's independence celebrations. Premier the Honorable Wayne Panton.
Over the past years, Jamaica has served as a strong support system for the people of the Cayman Islands. From our seafaring and shipbuilding days to many of our successful businessmen and women being educated in Jamaica. In addition, we've also been able to call on Jamaica for many of its resources, from food to medical services, whenever needed. One of the strongest ties that binds Cayman and Jamaica is that many Caymanians can trace their roots back to this beautiful island nation.
Leader of the opposition, the Honorable Roy McTaggart, says 61 years of independence is a significant event that every Jamaican is, quote, undoubtedly proud of.
No other country of its size has had a more significant and profound impact on world culture, sports, food, and music than Jamaica.
Local festivities marking the occasion included a concert on Saturday night featuring Tasan Chin, as well as a full day of performances and a gospel concert Saturday night hosted by Michelle T. at the Lion Center. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. Mali says it will send a joint delegation with Burkina Faso to Niger to express their solidarity. The announcement comes a day after the generals who seized power in Niger defied an ultimatum to reinstate the elected president. Opposition MPs in India have cheered as the senior Congress party leader Rahul Gandhi entered Parliament for the first time after being reinstated as an MP. It follows a Supreme Court decision to suspend his conviction in a defamation case. Israel's top military spokesman has described violence by Israeli settlers against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank as terrorism. Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said nationalist crime and terror, as he described it, were pushing more Palestinian civilians towards violence and terror. China says it firmly opposes US criticism of its maritime rights in the disputed South China Sea. On Sunday, Washington accused Chinese coast guards of acting like a maritime militia after a water cannon was fired at a Philippine vessel. The second and third largest parties in Thailand say they'll seek to form a new government. It comes after the populist Pheu Thai Party invited the conservative Boomjay Thai Party to join its coalition. World News from the BBC.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio. Homeowners, protecting your family and property is crucial during the season, and you should always assess insurance needs long before a storm makes landfall. Most insurers won't issue new policies or increases when a storm is imminent. Cayman Insurance Center's team of professionals can help owners like you find the most comprehensive coverage and competitive rates. Call the insurance professionals at Cayman Insurance Center 949-4657 or email info@cic.com.ky. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call Cayman Insurance Center's insurance professionals today at 949-4657.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 87 degrees. Relative humidity is 76%. The barometric pressure is 30.00 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 3 knots. Overnight low temperature was 82 degrees. Synopsis indicate light winds and seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next few days due to a slack pressure gradient over the Caribbean. A tropical wave passing through the Cayman area may support a few showers and possible thunder throughout today. Radar images show a few showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the west-southwest. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder, and temperatures today will be in the low 90s. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight. Partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of late night showers and possible thunder, and temperatures falling to the low 80s tonight. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Low tide will be this morning at 8:32, high tide this afternoon at 3:35, and a low tide again tonight at 9:50. The sun will set this evening at 6:57 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5 minutes past 6. And the outlook is calling for a second tropical wave over the central Caribbean, expected to move over the Cayman area, supporting cloudiness and some showers from tomorrow night. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Hey, Bill, glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Britke. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mark Mike John Sean.
It's Mordecai.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britke, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. There's no great success without commitment.
As motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, individuals who succeed have a belief in the power of commitment. If there's a single belief that seems almost inseparable from success, it's that there's no great success without commitment. If you look at successful people in any field, you'll find they're not necessarily the best and the brightest, the fastest and the strongest. You'll find they're the ones with the most commitment.
Change your thinking. Change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. Encourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
For 55 years, Cayman Airways has been serving as the national flag carrier of the Cayman Islands. This honor is the core of our identity, our purpose. And when we say those who fly us love us, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. So we're celebrating this milestone anniversary with you, our treasured community, with airfares on sale for travel to all of our fall destinations. But hurry, this airfare sale ends August 12th. Call 949-2311 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Celebrating 55 years as your national flag carrier.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at traffic. Steady traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way. As we look to Cool Road, heading to Georgetown, traffic is also steady. Eastbound traffic on Cool Road moving on moderately. Coming off of the Linford Pearson Highway on Agnes Way, steady traffic as well. And traffic is steady on the Linford Pearson Highway. As we turn our eyes to the Estella Tibbetts Highway, moderate flow of traffic coming off of there. And continuing on to North Sound Road On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions, as well as Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue. No issues on Edward Street as traffic is moving on pretty good, and traffic flowing at a good pace on Owen Roberts Drive and coming from the West Bay four-way stop. Huldah Avenue, little steady traffic, slight delays expected. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Yo, big up Massive. Summer is here and Digicel got the vibes flowing straight to Jamaica. That's right, me people. Digicel has a sizzling offer for you. Top up for your loved ones in a Jamaica and you get a chance to win the ultimate trip to the land of sun, sea and good vibes. To enter for the free trip to Jamaica, just send top up to your loved ones back home with Digicel and you automatically qualify. Remember, the more top up you send, the higher the chance you win. So make sure you don't miss out on the fun. Me people, get the summer vibes flowing with a top up for your loved ones with Digicel and get ready for a trip of a lifetime.
Remember to discard all fresh fruits and vegetables, meats, all foods in canisters, dented, leaking or rusting cans after they have come in contact with flood water. Also discard foods that are stored in cardboard boxes, paper foil, cellophane and cloth, as well as those in open containers and packages.
For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DAH website at www.gov.ky/DAH.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
And welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. And we do have, as planned, the excellent company of the Director from the Department of Environmental Health, Mr. Richard Sims. He's joined by the Communications and Marketing Officer, Ms. Yolanda Morales Caravalo. And if you haven't yet, go online, log into our Facebook account, our YouTube channel, and you also see Dr. Steve McField sits with us again. So we're going to have an excellent discussion. DH was always on the move, literally. Today, well, the wheels might be up. So as we get a chance later on to continue the discussion with Dr. Steve. Mr. Sims, pleasant welcome to you, sir. How are you today?
Morning, Dwayne, and thank you for having us as usual. We're always excited to come on your show and speak about our initiatives and highlight our goals, and so it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for making time, and it's something that as we look at where we are in Cayman, as I was considering today's discussion, as I just briefly shared as a sort of thinking out loud concept, the notion that we can take much for granted in Cayman, and yet we don't see the great strides and advances, the things that we're achieving. It's important. So I'm excited to hear about this thing. I almost wanted to say it, but should we ask Ms. Carvalho to sort of give us the and the big announcement is?
So we have great news to share, actually. We have a pilot that is going to start soon. I will leave my director actually to give you details on it. But we are very excited. We are ready, but we also looking to engage the community because this is a service that we are going to provide to the community, and it's something that people have been asking for a while, and the team is ready to deliver. The director will tell you more.
Yes, thank you, Mom.
Yes, doing as Yolanda just mentioned, these are exciting times for us. We've been listening to a lot of complaints. I mean, oftentimes you hear, the DH ain't doing this, the DH ain't doing that, we ain't collecting the garbage, all these different things, right? And you hear about chickens taking advantage of the residents' bins. So as a result of that, in addition to, we also want to look at the health and safety of our staff.
Yes.
And make sure that they're ready and able to collect the waste on a timely schedule. All right. So what we're trying to launch here, next month, actually, we're going to be launching our pilot program of our wheel bin program. This is where we'll be giving residents 96-gallon bins. And the vision is, right, because you have to look at, you want to create a standard across the Cayman Islands, right, where you go on the street, you see everybody bin look the same, right? Instead of, we know we have people with different type of and makes and models of enclosures and stuff like that, which sometimes pose a challenge for us, because the guys have to go in and literally pull out bag for bag, and that takes some time, right? And it takes a lot of wear and tear on the body, a lot of fatigue. Because if you think about you working out personally for yourself, you probably take 4 to 5 minutes to an hour if you go to a gym and work out. And once you work out, you're tired in that 1 hour. So you can imagine my team now who has to go on different areas on a route where you find each route can take you anywhere between 400 to 500 homes. And you have one guy sometimes on collecting waste from 500 homes, and he's doing that in 5 hours, 5-6 hours on that route, right? So it can take a toll on you. And so, and one of the things that had me looking at this thing is I wanted to see what the team was facing. So one morning I decided, okay, well, I'm going to go out as director and drive a truck myself, drive the route along with my assistant director and one of the supervisors. And so we said, okay, I want to see what the team is experiencing, why are we having so many absenteeism. And so you see the challenges of the roads are so narrow to maneuver the trucks. They have all the challenges of blockages, all these different things. And the lifting, heavy lifting, and the injuries that it causes. And so I said, okay, then we have to fix this. And to fix this, I said, well, look, let's now move forward with wheel bin. And so, because if we were to say to everyone that you have to buy this type of bin, there are going to be complaints about, we know all the financial challenges that's going on now, people won't be able to afford this. So we're going to supply you the bins. That will correct a few problems, such as the heavy lifting for the staff, for one. You create a standard that is, a nice standard, beautiful look across the neighborhoods, right? The bins are set in such a way that they're solid, right? Covers will be on them all the time. So you can now have your lids covered all the time, and you won't have the problems with your chickens, your rodents, and other pests, right? So, and what this means now is that with these wheel bins, our trucks now will have to be equipped with auto lifts, which we're in the process of doing now. Matter of fact, 2 of our trucks at the moment has been kitted out and ready for use. We're waiting on the 3rd truck, which should be arriving on island hopefully by the end of this month, right? So once we have all our equipment in place, we'll be rolling out the project, the pilot project in the Prospect area. And so some people may say, well, why Prospect? Well, because when you look at the makeup, we've driven all the routes, so we know exactly how neighborhoods are set, right? And Prospect is unique, and it's the perfect place to start because when you look at its diversity in terms of economics and across, you have, from one extreme to the next. And so, and it's the only neighborhood really that is set up in that way to give us. So I can tell, we're able to do as a result of this study in the next 6 months, how different people handle their waste across the Cayman Islands. So, but the goal is to, pitch this across the entire island. But we want, before we do that, we want to pilot it to make sure we know what works, what didn't work. So when we decide to roll it out, everybody's trained up and we're ready to go. So I'm really excited about this, because a lot of people who travel to different jurisdictions, you'll be able to see how they manage their waste. In terms, people say, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Right, where people can roll out their bins, and we want people to roll out the bins the night before, so we can have access to it,
Well, I like the notion you share about uniformity. I mean, we travel to other jurisdictions, on the night of before, the garbage go out, and if you ever drive through those areas, you see it all, and then before sun up, they're back in. But a couple of things, Mr. Sim, if I may just ask, just personally, for me to understand, you reference Prospect, and for some of us, I don't want it to be political, but just we confuse Prospect and Red Bay. To us, Savannah and Newlands is one, until you ask the people who live there and they go, no, it's different. So is it the traditional community of Prospect as we know it, is the electoral community of Prospect?
Well, the thing is, a good question, because you see, when how we operate, we've divided this island in routes, right? So we don't look at electoral boundaries and those sort of things, because what you find, because how we design the routes, the electoral boundaries will overlap, right, and sometimes when people complain, especially when we're late in collections, they'll say, okay, but why did you collect this road up to this point,
but not
my neighbors over there? That's because the way how the routes are designed, right? It rolls apart across that street, right? And it may look a little confusing to you, but it makes sense to us,
right.
Because we're looking at the number of homes evenly distributed for our collection, and so on, right? But yes, they do overlap, and it may seem that way, but no, this is not about political boundaries.
No, it is not, and
right.
this is often people,
right. So when, let's say, when you look at Prospect, we look at the whole diversity of Prospect in terms of economics. So that falls within our roots, and so based on what that looked like to give us a proper, with all the proper data that we need, then we say, okay, I think this route will give us the best information, right? So when you look at this, I can just name the streets that are going to be affected, and will be part of the pilot, right? And that's Prospect Point, Mahogany Way, Mangrove Avenue, Sabina Avenue, Tarpon Circle, Point Dexter Road, Swanson Crescent, Mallard Drive, Birdhouse Circle, Evo Tours Lane, Palm Island Circle, Oxford Street, Bayworth Circle, Ripon Court, Dogwood Street, Luch Lemon Way, Roxport Street, Wind Sweet Drive, Reverine Road, Amity Street, Patrick Avenue, north of Prospect Drive, Bay Island Avenue, Bonneview Avenue, and of Almond Avenue and Grapetree Avenue.
Okay, not Victory? I didn't hear.
No.
Okay. And I really appreciate you sharing that, because, sorry, many of us appreciate this, but, and we'll come back to it because it could go into the idea of recycling, but even initially, urban planning, the way our communities, and as you were referencing that, if you're familiar with the area, we saw the community's design is easy for your trucks to traverse that with a sense of efficiency. And if we live in Georgetown or West Bay, we know the trucks will come over and, collect on this side and then on that side later, or they may go through this area not until the next day.
Right.
Convenience, the efficiencies.
Yeah, and that's like I say, it's solely by way how we design the routes. For our collection purposes. It's not for because some people I can tell you when especially when you look at Prospect, the way how the routes run, it may seem like we're collecting Red Bay versus Prospect, but but Red Bay and Prospect do include on one of the routes, right, on the other route. So but we're solely concentrating on this one for this pilot program.
Actually, this is a route that is already in use. So it's not a route that it has been created for the pilot.
No.
But it's a route that has all the ingredients that we're looking for to be able to test the system at all levels. So more information, and actually there is a map of this route. We have it available on our website, which is gov.ky/DH. So it's available there. But people who are living around this route, we are going to be engaging them. And that's where we wanted to come to you first and let them know, listen, we are going to be walking your area to get you registered, because we want people to register with us so we can build a relationship with them and actually provide information, tips, and also get feedback on how the pilot is going. So we had created a registration form where we asked for certain information. We asked them how is the preferred way to contact them, if it's WhatsApp or by email, because we're not going to leave them alone at any point of time. We are going to walk with them and hoping that they walk with us as well. So we are going to be sending information how to maintain your well-being, why you should, what are their advantage, or please do this but don't do this. Because what we're trying to do is not only improve the collection system, but it's also standardized the storage system. And it's something that it works both ways. It has benefits for the participants and it has benefits for our colleagues in collection. So I was able to actually see some of the training our guys are going through, and it's amazing. Is actually they don't need to do any additional strength. If they feel they are pushing too hard, they are doing something wrong. Because it's very easy and it's faster than actually what we thought. So it's very smooth and also is avoiding them having direct contact with the garbage. So it's safer for them because they are not going to get any injuries related to that.
Well, as we come back from this quick break, I'll just share with you one of our listeners says this is such a great initiative from the DH, and a round of applause. So we can talk more about it and, remind our listeners, stay tuned.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
For 55 years, Cayman Airways has been serving as the national flag carrier of the Cayman Islands. This honor is the core of our identity, our purpose. And when we say those who fly us love us, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. So we're celebrating this milestone anniversary with you, our treasured community, with airfares on sale for travel to all of our fall destinations. But hurry, this airfare sale ends August 12th. Call 949-2311 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Celebrating 55 years as your national flag carrier.
System one loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Starting garage has any
Well, this is
We're gonna get there.
yeah. So we're back on now, and perfect question from Mr. Mike Field. See, this is when you have the intellect and the experience and expertise of those who live. As you will just join us back, that's a wonderful question from Mr. Mike Field. Through the chair to Madam Speaker, let the record, Mr. Sims.
Yeah, that you know, we will get there one day when we're looking at separation of waste, and you know, because our goal is to get to curbside collection in terms of recycling, right? But this, like I said, this pilot is also, you know, where we'll get a lot of data from in terms of how people manage waste, and then we can eventually add on to that. But we'll take it one step at a time.
Is it then possible, following to Mr. Steve's question, those who just joined us, we're talking about the wheel bin pilot project going to be launched in, you know, Prospect, and we have the director of DEH, the Department of Environmental Health, Mr. Richard Sims, the communications and marketing officer, Ms. Yolanda Morales Carvalho. ¿Cómo se dice en inglés? Carvalho, sí.
Carvalho.
Sí. And Mr. Sims, would this then, from your data collection, potentially lead you not only to expand the route and the like, but maybe revise not just your collection methodology, but also your routes and how you do things?
Well, for now, the routes are pretty much set, and it's been working for us. You know, we don't want to change that at the moment, because to change the routes now, which means, you know, you either have to add on a lot more homes on it or take away from. And so right now it's been working, and we don't want to change the route system and the routes that are laid out at the moment.
Right. And you did reference this is a 96-gallon bin, as opposed to what many of us may not realize. If you got the big ones, 33-gallon.
Right.
So this is significantly larger, so it should be able to hold, and with the lids covered much more securely.
Yeah, and we chose the 96 because when you look at, because the 96 gallons, we just don't come up with it just like that. You know, we look at, you know, the average number of persons living in a home, and you know how much waste it is. We have calculated all of this stuff out, right? Because the average person disposes of 7 pounds of garbage per day, right? And if you think about that, you should at least put out 2 13 gallons every week. If it's you and just 4 you live in a home. And sometimes we can tell you more if there's more persons than that living in a home based on the amount of garbage that dispose of, right? So, like you mentioned earlier, we have a team of persons that will be going out, our staff members, and we surveying, you know, taking proper information about how much waste you dispose of, and so we'll know how many bins you should get. You know what I mean? But the 96 gallons, you know, should be sufficient for the average home.
Right. And if we were to compute in Cayman, the average home, is that 2.6 people? Is it 4.8? What do we know what the average household looks like in terms of individuals?
Yeah, well, the average household is 3 point.
3.47, I think.
Yeah, so pretty much. But you know, we do have challenges at from time to time when it comes to you know, certain. That's why I say when you look at Prospect, why you can understand now why we chose Prospect, because of its diversity from one extreme to the next. We come across homes that you think it's the average household that's there, but all of a sudden it's a home that a 3-bedroom that was converted now into an apartment, right? And so you find the waste volume increase from that one location, right? And then not only that, that's not just one of the problems, because some of the problems that we also encounter is because of homes like that were designed for a single-family home now becomes an apartment for some reason. They've divided it and added on, and you know, it's an apartment. And then you find the traffic congestion. And there are times when we miss the waste because we cannot get to it, because there's so many cars parked out front. Because I can tell you there's a place in Windsor Park right now that we constantly having problems with. If it's not, we go there to collect the waste, you can't get to it because the access is blocked, right? And so it seems like, or give the impression that we're not wanting or
you didn't come around for collection.
Right?
And I'm glad you shared that, because I think sometimes we, even in our private homes, may have parked a car. We may have been doing some sort of renovation, and we have blocks or pallet of cement or aggregate.
Yeah.
Just temporarily, without appreciating how it may impact. Because your trucks aren't,
Exactly, our trucks aren't small. and I can tell you, there's another incident where in Prospect, this lady used to complain to me almost on a weekly basis. Why are you guys not collecting my waste? They're collecting everybody else's waste. Is it something against me or what? Why is it that? And I said to the team, listen, this lady's constantly complaining. What it is we need to do? So we start taking pictures and videos of when we arrive, and sure enough, every time we go, the vehicles blocking access, so we can't get to it. Ever since we highlighted that, no problem since.
Good point to maybe to ask of you then. And we are accustomed. I don't want to say we take it for granted, but I don't want to say we're spoiled. We saw 3 times a week collection, and it became 2, and then it becomes 1. There are, from what I'm told from friends and family who live in parts of the UK or just even in Florida, they get it once every 2 weeks. I'm not going to say a fortnight, because we might know that. Every 2 weeks they get garbage collection. This is a big industrialized places where, their countries their government allocate billions of dollars every year for their budget. They get it every 2 weeks. We get it once a week, and we complain. So what do we, as the citizens, the residents, the occupants in that area, what do you expect of us? What should we be doing, not doing? I mean, you just alluded to one, but help us to appreciate how we can help you get the garbage out more efficiently.
Well, the thing is, I want to encourage people to recycle, right? We, as much as we don't have the curbside yet, and that is something we aspire to for later on, but we do have depots across the island that people can take their waste, the recyclable waste, like plastics, type 1 and 2, cardboards, metal, and the like, right? So once people start to do that or get into the habit of doing that, they can help us in reducing the volumes that are collected at their homes, right? And eventually, like I say, we hopefully one day we'll get to curbside collection sooner than we think, but it will happen.
Okay. Right? And for this project, you reference, and for those who are just joining us, it's the Wheel Bin pilot project from the DEH and in the Prospect area. In that area, as you shared, there are homes, there are standalone homes, their homes have been converted, and now what was probably a 3-bedroom home has now, multiple tenancies in place. Then there are apartments. So will this cover every residential accommodation? And if I'm not mistaken, the streets you call, I don't recall any commercial businesses except one, but will it also cover them?
No, this is just for residential only. Our commercial operations are separate.
Okay.
It's a separate operation, right? So, but this is just for residential, only the pilot for that. And like I said, just to kind of highlight the benefits again, just so that people understand, for those who are just joining, can understand why we're doing this pilot, and because it's going to be beneficial for both the public and the staff who are charged with the responsibility of collecting the waste. So it will reduce the manual lifting, of the garbage, because, like as I mentioned earlier, when we started, there are challenges with absenteeism due to illness and so on, because staff will develop injuries over time. I know that some of them are very fit and strong, but you can only, after even the fit and the strong gets injury, right? And this would reduce when they're lifting waste spilling onto their uniforms and so on, right? So, and it reduces issues with vermin, chickens, rats, the like, who's actually constantly attacking the waste, and improve efficiency and collection of services, improve public health, reduce littering, right? And improve the visual appearance, because we want to create a standard that when you walk down the street and you say, oh, look how nicely neatly those garbage bins are laid out across every district. Tourists, people who come to the island visiting, they would see that we have a nice, standard waste collection in place. And it makes it easier and safer for residents and
Indeed.
collection crews for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as we close out the discussion, perhaps first to you, Ms. Carvalho, the notion you shared is a 6 months sort of pilot project starting next month, September, in the Prospect area. You also referenced registration and your team will be up. Tell us more about how we can participate. Is it voluntary? If the people don't think so, as we close out the discussion, get the listeners.
Sure. Yes, people, we ask them to register with us, and is volunteer basis. Even if people who decide not to participate, we will continue collecting their garbage, of course. But this is something that, is a win-to-win process. And all what we're going to ask is that please use the wheel bins being provided. I know we have some members of the community who has their own, but because of type of dimension and the way how we piloting the program, we asking only to use the ones that are going to be provided if you decide to participate in the pilot project. Please visit our website and you will see us walk in the community, especially during the weekends. And this is actually a team effort. We have different sections of the department working on it. We have the engineering section, we have environmental health, solid waste. Is a team effort. Is a lot of heads put together, trying to think how we can bring this service to you in the best way possible. So please sign up for it and give us all the feedback, because this is something that we are doing for the community.
Right. Well, thanks, Ms. Yolanda. And as you give us a final thought.
So is it possible for me to ask a question then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Since this 96 gallon container will only be, it seems to me, there will only be collection of that once a week. You're cutting it down now from 2 times a week to once a week. But this larger container, you will only need to collect it once a week. What day a week would the collection be?
Well, the collection, we've been collecting once a week now, as it is, but the collection will still remain on the day that your scheduled collections are within the districts at the moment. So that won't change. So if you're scheduled, for example, we're in West Bay on Mondays, so that won't change. This area, the area that we're piloting in Prospect, their collection days are on Wednesdays, so that won't change. So we just the only difference is that we're giving them the bin, and we'll be collecting them manually, and that's the goal, is to collect manual instead of physical collections.
So it is for us now as the residents with these bins in the Prospect area to bring our bins to the curb.
Yep, on Tuesday nights.
On Tuesday nights, as we would probably normally do.
Right.
If for those who have enclosures, would they still stay, or will you have to take it out and put it on the road?
Well, it depends. That will depend on the size of their enclosure, the design of their enclosures. But we'll expect them to take it out and have it ready for us.
We'll have you back on and talk today, and we can expound on it further. One, as we close out, one of our listeners says, in a news when the recycling of glass would restart, given that glass is much heavier. As glass is now being back into the garbage collection, the bins obviously are heavier as well.
I knew that question was going to come. I was talking to Yolanda before getting us up. Maybe somebody's going to ask me about it.
All right.
But okay, I do have some good news in that regard. But we're still in negotiations with the persons who we're trying to partner with. So hopefully I should have some good news soon.
All right. Well, thanks again, Mr. Sims, and this we'll build a pilot project in Prospect. Say that fast 3 times. Thank you very much. We'll highlight it, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, thank you.
All right, when we return, look at him. The fine gentleman sits to my right. We're going to have an excellent discussion as we continue for the record. Stay tuned.
Hey, is your phone slow, overheating, and dropping important calls? Don't fret. This summer, it's time to flip out with Digicel. Introducing the all-new Samsung Flip 4 with its sleek design and cutting-edge features. You'll flip into the summer in style and confidence. This summer, you can grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4, all just for $145. Flip into the summer with Digicel. Visit a Digicel store near you and grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4 and the amazing 7-day Prime Ultra plan today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
For 55 years, Cayman Airways has been serving as the national flag carrier of the Cayman Islands. This honor is the core of our identity, our purpose. And when we say those who fly us love us, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. So we're celebrating this milestone anniversary with you, our treasured community, with airfares on sale for travel to all of our fall destinations. But hurry, this airfare sale ends August 12th. Call 949-2311 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Celebrating 55 years as your national flag carrier.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And as we get into the discussion, Dr. Steve, I feel, makes not just his time and his contribution as invaluable as it is, as frequent and as willing. And as we had a chance, will remind us more about that Wheel Bin and Pilot project and its prospect being rolled out by the Department of Environment. Now, sir, I get a chance to chat with you. Thank you very much for coming in again. You know, it's reminding us sometimes the respect and timeless our people have had. That unfortunately, sir, sometimes we allow it to be disparaged. And you said to me, you'll be here at 15. Long before that, you were seated and assembled. That's a respect for self, respect for time, a respect for others. If I can respectfully say publicly, thank you for being that example. You, like my father, like many others, and something I try to aspire to. Time waits for no man, so have utmost respect for others' time, because time does not stand still. So, good to be in your company again, sir. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you for asking me back today. It's been good. I had a good weekend. We on Friday we delivered the electoral boundary report to the governor and to the Parliament, and that's one thing off of my plate now. that lasted some 7 months, I think. Yes, and we hope it's a good report. We don't know when it's going to be published. I guess it has to go later on the table in LA first, and the Parliament first before it's been published. But that's done, and so I'm looking forward now to the next thing, and that is the report from the point system committee that we're doing, the review of the point system. Under the Immigration Transition Act, and we hope to have that, like I say, probably by the end of September. I'm looking for that by the end of September to send it to hand that report in. Of course, I think we are going to have some public hearings. Probably, I hope that we get some time on your radio here.
Of course, yes, sir.
To share what we are recommended to cabinet.
Right.
And I think, and then we'll include those in the report, what the feedback we get from the public, and then we'll turn it over.
For that report in relation to the immigration and the point system, in order, just for us to understand better, in order for there to be further public consultation or any public consultation, that would have to come from the cabinet before you and your team can go to the public. You would need approval for that.
That's in the terms of reference that we had initially. That we should get public input, and that will be part of the report, the same as we did with the Boundary Commission.
Right.
We went around to different electoral districts, and we invited people to give us feedbacks of what they thought that our recommendations were and would be. And we did get some feedback, some people from there. Yeah. We hope to do the same thing with the point system committee work.
Right.
But that's part of our mandate.
Right. But you had a series of meetings. From what you shared, you compiled a report, giving it to the cabinet now, and then I guess presumably they'll come back and say, okay, go have public consultations.
No, that we have to have public consultation before we give it to cabinet.
Okay.
And when we finish draft the report and our recommendations, then we go to the public and say, this is what we think that your immigration system should look like.
Right. I appreciate you clarifying that for us, because, and maybe my questions were a bit of a roundabout consciousness. In our community, we know whether it's the supermarket, whether it's somewhere where we enjoy in the evening, there's been continual discussions among many about the immigration system. I've heard some people speak with such authority, and I go, well, that must be an elected person, that must be someone in the committee. Only in the conversation to find out, oh, I've only been here a few weeks or a few months. They seem to either not only have an opinion, but be sufficiently convinced that this is what's going to be happening by this time. And as they speak with such forcefulness, I'm thinking, wow. So I want to share that down. Besides a lot of conjecture, a lot of speculation.
yes.
And I thought, man, I'm almost inclined to call up the governor's office and to say, hey, is this happening? Well, so everyone has an opinion on it.
That's man. That's the kind of society that we have developed over the decades, where people it's really funny. I think we're the only people that I see that have insights into things, and then some of those things turn out to be true. Turn out to be true, and it seems to me that it's not a wishful thinking. It seems to be that it's sort of a I can't find a word for that now, but it's a system in which you in the scriptures you say you pray for it.
Call those things out as if they were.
And in ordinary in ordinary parlance, you treat for it. You treat for something to happen.
Yes.
And if you believe in it, and if it actually happens the way you treat it for it to happen, we seem to be that kind of people. And somehow.
Yeah,
they can read your mind somehow. I remember when I was a young man, and when we had no post office boxes, and after they had given up delivering mail to people's houses, you had to go down to the post office to get your mail. And so the old post office was configured differently as from the way it is now. And there would be, I would say, hundreds of people, not hundreds, but many people in the post office, while they called out the names of the people who had gotten mail. And in those days, the men were at sea, 2,000 and 3,000 men were at sea. And you'd go down there to see if your mom got in a letter.
Yep.
and they would say McPhail, Ebanks, and they would pass the letter over the counter. The people then, if you were in the back, they'd pass it over to you.
Yeah.
And before it got to you, they would say, "Oh, allotment is in it, money's in it." In the mail, how they could tell that a check or allotment was in the or money order was in it? They knew.
They knew, yeah.
They knew. They could feel it. Whatever they knew.
Must be the weight of it. Huh?
Oh, man, I don't know how they knew, but it was true.
It wasn't open.
Yes,
and the envelope wasn't transparent.
No.
Yeah,
no,
but it's interesting.
But they knew.
Right.
And they say, "Your mama allotment came." So,
and for those who know what that word means,
yes.
action neighbor.
Yeah. So,
Mr. Steve, we have the news. When we come back, let's
yes.
continue talking. It's a pleasure. I can see why Mr. Art,
yes.
has his day so filled whenever he leaves with your company. All right, join us after.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service says it's gotten a number of complaints after a series of incidents were reported by women being inappropriately touched by another passenger while on a public bus. Anyone who has been assaulted in this manner is encouraged to call 649-2930. Niger's coup leaders have closed the country's airspace until further notice, citing a threat of military intervention by their neighbors. It comes after the ECOWAS group of West African states demanded that President Mohamed Bazoum be reinstated by Sunday. There's been no sign of a military response and no statement from ECOWAS. France has warned citizens against any travel to Niger, Mali, or Burkina Faso, which have sided with the junta, and Air France has suspended all flights. And a grieving mother and her lawyer have been targeted by an extreme campaign of abuse after suing a conspiracy theory newspaper which falsely claimed her son died from a COVID vaccine. The Irish Light repeatedly abused Edil Campbell online, and its supporters have threatened her lawyer with, quote, execution. Conspiracy theorists worldwide have used dozens of tragic deaths to spread vaccine misinformation. This case is thought to be the first where a relative has sued. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
I'm Liani Tibbetts, Miss World Cayman Islands 2022, and I need your help to keep Cayman clean. When you're out and about, please dispose of your trash in the proper containers. Do not throw trash out of your car or leave it on our beaches. And if you see litter, take a moment to pick it up and dispose of it properly.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Hey, welcome back, and thank you for joining us. And if you don't mind me, just saying, hey, I enjoy your company so much. Hopefully you do mine as well. That you come back and a little bit over 3 hours and join us for talk today. But I'm honored if he doesn't mind, not just because of his experience and expertise, but the charm, the charisma, the way he presents, not just his narratives, but our history. Dr. Steve McPhail. I say that publicly, sir. I'm hoping that as a people, and I know this to be the case, but maybe not sufficiently. I know this to be the case in many jurisdictions. We celebrate our own increasingly. We show them the deference they deserve from the newborn, but to those who have seen, more than 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, that we love on them, that we value what their life experience has been. And you've been incredible in sharing, so your recollection is amazing, but also the energy and enthusiasm, and if I can use the word, the gumption.
Oh, it's because I love that.
Yeah.
Law is, for me, is a way to sustain my economic my economic benefit. So the other things that I do is what I love to do. If I had been in another jurisdiction other than Cayman, I would have been in that kind of environment, and I would have loved it. I would have cherished it. It would have been something I would have flourished in, because that's what I was leading to. And people in other jurisdictions saw that the talent that I was displaying from an early age, and they recognized that. Unfortunately, when I came here, I was not able to continue that because I had to make a living, and so I chose a profession that I didn't have to depend on other people to give me a job, to punch a clock, because I was always reminded that in the situations, the kind of person I am, I would always be the first to go if they were letting people go, and the last to be rehired. And so I thought, and some of my friends, some of my old long friends, convinced me, you need to get a profession that you're not depending on other people to hire you and to go there with your resume and to make a decision on your behalf. You're not that kind of person, and that's why I choose. But the other things, and that's the problem that I find in Cayman. Caymanians don't recognize their scholars and their intellectuals and so forth. They it's because we have never really put education as in the forefront as a priority in our lives. We had never done that, and so to some people, when the I would say the second wave of educated people start coming back, we were looked upon as being dangerous. Like what Haywarden said about George Ebanks, danger. So that's what happened, and we got caught up into that belief from those people who were in the periphery. Some of them were not educated. Some of them didn't go to school. Some of them were very smart people. In fact, Caymanians are very smart people, and they didn't understand the vocabulary sometimes that we were using to mean. They thought that one word, this is the only meaning that you can give to this particular thing, and we were giving it other meanings, describing it in other ways, and that was a the dichotomy of between us and them, and but I have gotten over that now. I understand how they think now. I have gotten over that now. I have navigated through that maze, and it doesn't. Before I was really upset and sometimes being angry of the lack of recognition. But that has passed me now, and I understand the reasons for that. But starting the last time I was here, a person. We were talking about many things, and we were talking about the state of the country and so forth. And one of the people who called in here called me and asked me, what in my opinion what makes a good leader? And I went over the weekend. I looked at biographies of maybe 12 people, and none of their biographies that I looked at came up with. They were good leaders in their countries, in their jurisdictions, and for the times they were, but none of them fit the description of what would be a good Caymanian leader. And so I sat down and I thought about it, and I wrote a few notes on my own on the weekend. I'd like to share them with you.
Yes, sir. Can I? It's okay with you. I can take notes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Manuel leader. All right.
So, and this is from my opinion, what I gathered from what other people thoughts were a good leadership. I sort of convert that into what a good Kimani leader is. A good leader should possess the characteristics of a good captain, a good sea captain. Now, captain/navigator, and the characteristics of a good doctor.
Okay.
Now, the captain has the compass with the 4 cardinal points: north, south, east, and west, and the longitudes and latitudes in between. So he sets the course of his ship by this instrument according to the place he has to arrive at. A good leader should follow that method and set the course of his country and his people according to where they desire him to go with their public affairs. A good doctor diagnoses the symptoms of his patients by dialogue with them, asking them questions about, well, how do you have a pain here, and how do you have a pain here, how does it feel here, by examination analysis. He then studies the results of his findings. He then comes up with the right diagnosis of his patient's complaints and gives them the right medication cure. So a good leader should perform the characteristics of a good social doctor. Diagnosis: he diagnosed the problems of his people and similar methods of procedure as the doctor with the people who succeeds him, and he shares that when he comes up with the cure to his people's problems and shares the cure with others, because you don't keep it to yourself. You share that around, you share the analysis and the diagnosis so that you can help other people to get well, socially well, and like the doctor makes people physically well and mentally well. He will be regarded then by his people as a good leader. He will serve the interests of his people well, and he must have in his political bag the solutions for what they say is their symptoms. And forefront in his bag must be prosperity and security for his people. Let me explain what I mean about that. You cannot allow your country that provides services on which your people rely on for their prosperity and allow those services to be transferred to another country where other people will prosper at the detriment of your own people. Now, in 1965, when we started this journey, when we put all the laws into place, the Confidential Relationship Preservation Law, the Bank and Trust Companies Law, the Companies Law, where people could have people could be exempt companies and bearer shares and stuff. We did that to benefit our own people. That's the reason why they did it, to cause employment. And we say we can provide these services to you, and we see where our people could be benefit. Once you allow other people to come in and take that service over from your own people, and then they transfer it to another country where they can hire people for less salary, less wages, that is not providing prosperity for your own people. That is not providing economic security for your own people and your country. So that causes through years and years of outsourcing services to other people, systematic threats to our people. So we cannot make economic decisions independent of outsiders, because they can always apply that economic detriment to us and say what is good for Cayman. They can decide what's good for Cayman and what is the value of Cayman. They decide what the value of Cayman and the Caymanian people. They also can decide what is the model of Cayman. And always, if you look at other jurisdictions like ours, that leads to economic chauvinism. And then we, you and I, are sitting around this table this morning, so asking, what is the vision for Cayman? Our leaders, if you don't practice what I've just said, our leaders will have no power to make a vision for our country and our people. Okay. So the most important thing is prosperity and security for our people. Now, one time, we were always went around the world bragging that we were economically independent. You remember those times?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We were independent. We were economically independent. And now, other people are economically dependent, and we are dependent on them.
Right.
That is because the leadership has not had in their bags, when they got responsibility to run the country, they have not got in their bags. The first and foremost thing is prosperity and security for their own people. We have lagged behind. We have left it behind. And today, the only thing that we have now that can pay the high cost of health, pay education for our people, for our children, pay the high cost of electricity, pay all of those things is to sell our properties that we have left. The foundation in which we bask in the sun and the sunshine and the sea. And when we went abroad, we came back to that seat, to that seat of security. We knew that we could come and live on our family land. Your brother or your mother or your sister could build a house on the family land, and all that has, the whole system changed that. You have to have whoever got the land registered in their names would own it. And so that whole concept of family togetherness, that community togetherness has completely changed. And they have changed because other people came and say, this is the way you should go. This is the value of your country. And this is how your country should determine their future.
How its people is defined.
So I would just like to leave that with you.
Well, I appreciate that. And as we go into the break, I wrote down as you were sharing, the captain / the navigator and the doctor. Perhaps we're asking our leaders to have vision. These are the words that I wrote as you were speaking: vision, compassion, humanity, empathy, to be relatable, to be able to understand how things are. And when we come back, if it's okay through you, let's talk about that ability to ensure the prosperity and the security for Caymanians and for Cayman and for Caymanians in Cayman.
Yes.
What that would look like, what that would take. All right, join us as we return. Stay tuned.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Cayman, what if the ability to make better national healthcare decisions was on the tip of your finger? Would you take it? Because that's exactly where it is. The Ministry of Health and Wellness needs more people to do the finger prick blood measurement for the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Your participation gives us data which informs decisions that shape the nation's healthcare. Help us by saying yes to Step 3. For more information, contact the STEPS team on 936-4969 or email mhwsteps@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman News.
Wednesday's interest rate hike by the U.S. Federal Reserve.
Retail banks will stand by their commitment to implement a 30-day notice period before passing on the latest interest rate increase.
The governor issued her first proclamation as governor on Monday.
Said littering is a serious concern that is placing an increasing burden on society.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good afternoon. No, Miss Suzanne, we're still in the morning. But that's just a preview of what we want to say in 3 hours or so. I wish I could have the extended company of Dr. Steve McField, but he has joined Mr. Ort on innumerable occasions, and I have benefited by being able to listen. And I'm honored now to sit next to you. This is not Mr. Ort, but I think I could pass for being almost as handsome.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think so. So Sterling Dwayne Ebanks here. And I wanted to ask Dr. Steve some other questions based on what you shared, but we do have a caller joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, welcome. Good morning. Thanks for sharing.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Doctor. How are you, sir?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good to hear you again, Doctor. I got a quick question, sir. I was thinking about these banks in Cayman and the interest rates. I'm laughing because I went Georgetown school there a couple of months with Teacher McField, but I learned that common sense sometimes is good, because a lot of people got education and they don't have common sense. Doctor, can you please explain to me what will happen? I'm saying I think I spoke to Mr. Sterling some days ago the same thing, and he asked me the question why wait till December, but I'm saying December just to make it sound nice. The government is saying, or the premier is saying that the bank said 30 days for the interest rate. So what happened after the 30 days? And people still need to lose their houses in Cayman?
Well, sure.
The 30 days to look around to see which ones they're going to take from us.
No, the 30 days is only to give you a window in which maybe to readjust your economic position that you have. That is not saying that the bank is going to reverse their interest rate for 30 days or not raise their interest rates for 30 days. What it means is that when the interest rates go up, we are going to we're going to not put them in force for 30 days. We're going to notify you, and then you have 30 days to decide what do you want to do. That is the system that's the monetary system that we have now. And remember that the Cayman dollar doesn't stand alone. The Cayman dollar is pegged to the American dollar, and when the American dollar sneezes, Cayman dollar take a cold, so to speak. If you have an account with a credit union, that's a different thing. They don't depend on the American system, because that money belongs to the members in the bank. In the credit union, it's not that money is not the same as money in the bank. The bank borrows money sometimes from the feds to do things, to lend money, and when they borrow that, they are bound by the increase in interest. The credit unions is different. I mean, the ladies were here in the credit union last week explaining that it's you borrow money from your own self and from your own savers in the credit union. So that's the problem that we have. The Premier can't do anything about that. The Premier doesn't have the power to do anything about that, really. All the Premier can say, well, if the interest rate is going to go up, give us a notice for 30 days so that people can decide what they want to do, whether they can pull out from their mortgage or give up their house or find a better solution to it, or find people that can give better rates. And the same time, when you look at the rates in the UK, they just went up, but just a small amount. Banks are still, rates in the UK is 4% and 5% interest, not 9 and 10%. And because their pound is not pegged to the dollar, their monetary system stands alone. And so whoever is using the US dollar and under that monetary system are always going to be subject to the interest rate increase.
Mm-hmm. Sir, the monetary authority can't do anything either, right? That's what you're saying.
Pardon me?
The monetary authority.
The monetary authority doesn't have anything to do with that. The monetary authority regulates the monetary system in Cayman. They regulate stuff. They come to see that you're abiding by all of the laws that are in Cayman, that you're not money laundering and so forth like that. But they don't have that kind of power. Well, there are a lot of people, including me, has been suggesting that the monetary authority expand its mandate and become a central bank, that they could regulate the rates, and then the Premier through his government could do something about that through a central bank, because the central bank would have laws that give the government certain power to do certain things. But the monetary authority is only a regulator. That's all it is.
Because I really feel that Caymanians will still be losing their homes, and I don't.
Well, sure, if you can't pay the higher rate, then you have to give up your house, or you have to sell it to someone who wants to buy it, who can afford it. I mean, it's that's the system.
Mm-hmm. And no one can control the banks. The banks is all alone, and they're Lone Ranger alone.
Well, they are in the.
Can control them.
Well, in a way.
Mm-hmm. All
right.
It's funny.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm sorry, because Caymanians can lose their homes again, and nothing can be done about it. It's a shame.
Well, that's a defeatist attitude, though.
I thought that there had to be some organization or someone that can control the banks in Cayman and said, well, you can't do this. There are people, I don't know if anywhere else, the U.S.
Well, listen, sir, you have a credit union that started with the bank. The credit union started with government employees, and then it expanded to other organization employees. There's no reason why other Caymanians can't get together and do the same thing and start a credit union where they can save their money and borrow from themselves.
Mm-hmm. Or perhaps legislators can amend the laws relative
or amend the laws.
Right. Sir, thank you very much for that. Mr. Steve, we're just going to take the break, and we have a couple of callers. If they are able to and amenable, ask them to just hang on, and we'll join them after.
Yes.
Please, stay tuned.
West Bay Pharmacy. Personalized medicine, customized care to meet your specific needs. Your body is unique to you. Your medicine should be too. Whether you're seeking individual specific medication, correct size dosages, or simply better tasting medicine, ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about how compounding at West Bay Pharmacy can increase your treatment options, not only for your family, but for your pets too. West Bay Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sundays and most holidays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Cayman, what if the ability to make better national healthcare decisions was on the tip of your finger? Would you take it? Because that's exactly where it is. The Ministry of Health and Wellness needs more people to do the finger prick blood measurement for the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Your participation gives us data which informs decisions that shape the nation's healthcare. Help us by saying yes to Step 3. For more information, contact the STEPS team on 936-4969 or email mhwsteps@gov.ky.
No, man. I'm tired of seeing a new charge on my phone bill every month.
You are always complaining about that bill. I think it's time you make that switch to Digicel.
I've been with my network for more than a decade. I don't know if I want to move over now.
Well, better later than never. When you switch to Digicel, you get better speeds, more data, and simply more value. Best of all, no dishonest practices. What they say is what you get. Make that switch today and get 50% off your first 2 months.
50% off my first 2 months? Mary, you're convincing me now. Okay, I'll visit a Digicel store near me.
Experience the bigger, better network. Switch your postpaid number to Digicel for 50% off your first 2 months or get a free 30-day Prime bundle for prepaid customers. Make the switch today.
For 55 years, Cayman Airways has been serving as the national flag carrier of the Cayman Islands. This honor is the core of our identity, our purpose. And when we say those who fly us love us, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. So we're celebrating this milestone anniversary with you, our treasured community, with airfares on sale for travel to all of our fall destinations. But hurry, this airfare sale ends August 12th. Call 949-2311 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Celebrating 55 years as your national flag carrier.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And in the studio, Dr. Steve McField and sir, I'm very grateful that you would find time, despite all you have on. We can probably revisit some of those things, but we do have a couple of callers.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for sharing. Hello.
Yeah, Ian, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, okay, in a sense. Better know that Dr. Steve is there because I wanted to ask him some questions that probably only a man like him and his astute mind could answer.
We certainly want to, benefit from him. We do have a couple other calls as well, so we'll get to them all, right?
Okay.
All right.
Let me shoot right away then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I wanted to find out in the event. I've been hearing so much different mixed opinions about this. Nothing really concrete. So I think Dr. Steve would be the man that probably could clarify it. In the event of a country, you can use discrimination for the word. I can't think of another one, to enforce their resources and their environment. Now, is that a constitutional? Is that something that is unethical? Is that something that actually is discriminatory? Do we have the rights to do so regardless?
You mean to the environment?
No, sir. With all our resources as well,
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, sure. But what we've done, we've handed all of that, I would say, community power to other people who, through their economic dominance, dictates that for us, and we stand by the wayside like we have always done, and make excuses. And we have something called a constitution that gives us that power, and we do not even use that. I have not heard any people, even some of the people in our government, have mentioned their constitutional powers that they have. I have never heard that. And so that's the problem we have. We seem to believe that only the people who has the gold in their safes and their money are the people who should dictate the way we should live and what we should do with our resources. And that's a fact. Otherwise, convince me otherwise, and I will capitulate. But that is the way it is here. And there's no one pushing the envelope and say, I think you've had enough now. And I think you've gone far enough now. And this is going to stop. And we are going to start to develop our own people to have power over our own resources that we have, because there's not much. Our resources are limited, and I can tell you one thing: there's going to be a finite time when we have to bite the bullet, and it seems like what we're doing, we're pushing that further into the future for our children, who's not going to be able to stand and fight with those against those people, or stand and fight for their rights with those people.
Dr. Steve, you're a great visionary. It's too bad that people like you and Dr. Frank is not featured more. These things should be taught in civics in school. Political science and such as a developing country. We've fallen along the way for the lack of fools die for want of wisdom.
But sir, we don't even teach the things that one of the fundamental things that we need, and that's about agriculture, how to feed ourselves. We don't have that in the schools.
Nope.
So we know about how Henry VIII killed all these women, and so forth. We know about that, and we can repeat that. But we don't know even how to sustain ourselves. They don't teach us that. Mm-hmm. We have an economy here that's based on services. How many people can come out of high school and walk into one of those and want to get a job in one of those those economies? Not many. And those who go abroad and come back, what happens to them? They turn back too. The doors are closed. The gates are closed against them. And who really fights for them?
Yes, that's the glaring point. And I think what has happened here is, for the few of us that is conscious of it, seemingly, it seems like, we don't realize that, pooling our resources and putting our heads together, being strength in numbers matters. And there is so many that doesn't seem to think that it makes sense. They're too dependent maybe on the government. Also, they got this sense of hopelessness through. They didn't have to fight for anything over the last 50 years or so. Everything seemed to just drop in our lap and has spoiled us big time, has really defeated our progress as a people, because the days when you help me and I help you and we didn't need much money, that seems to be something of, that.
Yes, that was communal economic system.
Yes.
And tell me, what good is it? What good is it when you do nothing to help your people? The reason why you have schools, and they don't have to be expensive schools. The reason why you have schools is to educate your people about health, about economics, about all those things, and about the social sciences, about biology, about all of those things, and then the social sciences. But we never did that to give them the right to think properly and to compete in a world that is completely changing. I mean, how many cell phones have you bought since the last 3 years? And they tell you, oh, I'm sorry, but this version is gone now. You have to get a new version. That's the same thing happening in the social system. And really, if you look at our system, how we grew up, everybody was doing most the same thing. The people in East End and the people in North Side were raising butlers, bananas, yam, cassava, and the people in North Side was doing the same thing. They couldn't trade with each other because they were raising the same thing. So who was going to buy their products? They would sell them to Georgetown to sell. And then when the people in Georgetown who were making money off those same things saw that those things were being cultivated locally, said no, they're not good. You can't do that. The land is not good for that. And so they start bringing it from other country. And then what happened? You had to pay 3 times as much for it. And what we didn't teach our people how to counteract that. That's a system that we grew up in. And the same thing we do now to the resources we have. How here we're allowing other people to control them from other people, from other places. And then not only that, but the absurd criminal thing, we're giving them money to do it. Have you ever heard that? Yeah, you paying a man to hang you?
Yeah, huh? but that's the thing. I think, Dr. Steve, the perception could be, I kind of left to wonder if it is anything else that, we have the stigma attached, that we are doing okay So, we don't need to improve on much. We're the best off place in the Caribbean financially, so most of the people...
Best for who?
But this is the question, whom is Cayman being developed for? That still stands.
Best for who?
But that seems to be like the mantra of governments come and governments go. There's so much more, Dr. Steve, that I would love to speak about, but Dwayne said you have some callers.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that and being so gracious. With that, Dr. Steve, let's take these others.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Hello, am I on?
You are indeed. Yes, thank you so much for calling.
Well, good morning, Dr. Steve.
Good morning, Mr. Billy Samamba. Somebody called me the other day and asked me for your number and your stuff, but I gave it to them.
Oh, that's all right. My number is all right. And when you give it to them, it's actually a favor for me. And I know you wouldn't give it to somebody who didn't need it or
No.
No problem at all. They can call me. Well, just the short comment, really. You inspired me again when you talked about how in Cayman that Cayman doesn't make use of its expertise. And that is one aspect of the problem. The other aspect as well is that I find that sometimes also Cayman doesn't want to make use of certain expertise which it has attracted from outside the country, that is non-Caymanian people. If those Caymanian people do not meet the aims and aspirations of what you might call the Caymanian deep state, because the Caymanian deep state are certain people in the political directorate, certain people in the private sector, who it's a mix of groups of Caymanians and non-Caymanians who control things, and as a result, they would keep down not just Caymanians, but even foreign people who come in with very good expertise, sometimes even internationally recognized, who want to assist Caymanians. So long as those people want to assist Caymanians, you find that they are also put down. So I thought that aspect of the problem also needed to be highlighted.
Yes, I agree with you, Mr. Billy.
Yeah, so and you see, for me, I keep learning about Cayman to this very day. But in those days, I was still sort of like saying, is it true that Caymanians are suppressed and this and that, until I saw particular cases happening under my nose. And then it became, especially that it was some of my friends, so it was really, really something very disappointing to see. The last point that I would like to make, if I may, is just how I find that when an issue in Cayman and an issue becomes important, it is something where legislation is needed to be changed, and sometimes to be changed urgently. You find, again, this problem manifests itself in that there is so much fight from the Caymanian deep state, the certain aspects of the political directorate and private sector. Look at, for example, the issue of mortgages. I know, Dr. Steve, for a few years now, you've been talking about this aspect, and in my view, in my experience, I think it was in early 2018, where somebody in the political system there involved me a little bit to talk about that issue, and I also learned quite a bit about it. What is very clear is that what are called mortgages in the Cayman Islands are not mortgages. They are called, I think they are, properly speaking, they are like, they are just loans. They are
demand loans.
Demand loans, exactly.
Yes.
They are demand loans. And that was pointed out very, very clearly. And that even in the developed countries such as Canada and the UK, it is much more difficult for you to foreclose on a mortgage, for example, if somebody loses a job or has got children and so on and so forth. That was pointed out, a very, very obvious defect in the law. And yet it has been 5 years since that happened, and there have been so many cases which we saw on television of kids being thrown out of homes. And yet, instead of it being treated as an urgent thing that the government needed to deal with, they fought it. The people in the private sector said, we will self-regulate. When the pressure was too much, they shunted it off to the Law Reform Commission, where it has been now for 5 years. Okay? And so I just have a problem understanding why in Cayman, when something is so clear, so important, and you can do it without being revolutionary. You will just be following some of the other things that happen in other developed countries. It is not done for 5 years up to today, and people keep losing their homes. And then when you get these problems of interest rates and so on, they just exacerbate the problem. And you ask yourself, where is the government regarding this? Why does it take long to correct issues that are very, very obvious? These are questions I keep asking. I know there's no easy answer to it, but they say that once you highlight a problem, that is the first step towards solving it. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Billy.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Mr. Steve, we do have the final break. You can join a caller after. I always appreciate your perspective.
Yes.
Please stay tuned.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
Cayman, what if the ability to make better national healthcare decisions was on the tip of your finger? Would you take it? Because that's exactly where it is. The Ministry of Health and Wellness needs more people to do the finger prick blood measurement for the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Your participation gives us data which informs decisions that shape the nation's healthcare. Help us by saying yes to Step 3. For more information, contact the STEPS team on 936-4969 or email mhwsteps@gov.ky.
For 55 years, Cayman Airways has been serving as the national flag carrier of the Cayman Islands. This honor is the core of our identity, our purpose. And when we say those who fly us love us, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. So we're celebrating this milestone anniversary with you, our treasured community, with airfares on sale for travel to all of our fall destinations. But hurry, this airfare sale ends August 12th. Call 949-2311 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Celebrating 55 years as your national flag carrier.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to Dr. Steve McField for sitting with us and helping us to appreciate how we navigate, as you said, the Caymanian leader and the good ship captain and the navigator. We do have a caller, sir. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good morning, Sterling.
Morning. How are you doing?
I am good, my friend. I'm good. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, sir.
I'm listening to you all there, and I had to agree with Dr. Steve Jackson when he read the little the reading there about the captain and with the leadership, regarding the leadership. And I had to stop and really freeze myself to realize that that is where our country is going wrong. Is because we don't have the leadership in this country from our leaders. And the 10 things that I came up with that our country is lacking in our leaders are 1, integrity, 2, delegation, 3, communication, 4, self-awareness, 5, gratitude, 6, learning agility, influence, 8 is empathy, 9, courage, and 10, respect. 4 out of those listeners that I just gave you out of the 10 are leaders today lack, and that is communication, the courage, the respect, and the gratitude. That's those 4 they were lacking out of how they lead this country. And I I would topic on more, but I just want to say something. Dr. Steven was speaking about the education system. I know one time I saw in one of the classrooms of a teacher that was teaching the children history. In that classroom, now I had one poster in that class regarding the Cayman Islands. It was only regarding the country that individual came from. When our leaders don't take things into hand, these things fall in our country, and it's hard to rebound from them. Dr. Steve said everything. He said a mouthful. We are lacking in the school system with agriculture teaching. We are lacking. People say, well, all right, they got class. Yeah, they got class, but where do they take it after that? It isn't something that is broadband. It isn't something that has gone out there that our generation learn from it and proceed in the future with it. Gentlemen, I thank you this morning, and hopefully we can get back on this another time with more time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Steve, certainly always invite you to share. But as that caller was sort of reflecting on those 10 things, very crucial, right? But I want to ask, based on what you were saying earlier, the notion of education and the like.
Yes.
But before I do, one of our listeners sent this message to ask if you have an opinion on carving out a special designation for quote-unquote indigenous Caymanians. The premise being, as I just had a quick exchange, that we as a country perhaps need to ensure that we have a way to identify, I use the word citizens, the status of our citizens. Those who have been granted Cayman status gets a stamp on a piece of paper somewhere to say that they're Caymanian, right? Those of us like yourself and me who go back generations are being asked to go and present ourselves with some semblance of documentation to get a stamp. It's not just perhaps disparaging, disrespectful, but it's probably divisive as well. So do we address that? And how?
Well, starting the problem that we have is that we are a colony. And a lot of Caymanians do not understand that. We listen to CNN and all of those liberal stations from across the road there up north, and we try to adopt what they say and what they envisage as their rights as ours. We are only we just moved to that. I would say in my estimation, in how I think, a couple of years ago we moved to be British Overseas Territory citizens. We do not have a citizenship. That's the problem that we have. A lot of Caymanians don't understand. We do not have a citizenship.
We thought we did, but we don't.
We don't.
Yeah.
We have a nationality, and we are citizens of the British Overseas Territories. Not our territory. The British Overseas Territories, Barbados, Jamaica, Bermuda. Not Bermuda, Barbados, Jamaica, and Trinidad, and Bahamas, and all them have citizenship.
So they're independent nations.
They're independent people. We are not citizenship. So what we have, and we when we were negotiating the new constitution, we did not include into that some sort of definition of who we actually are, different from other nationalities. If you look at the Constitution, all it says about citizenship, and doesn't use the word citizenship. It says Caymanian, and there's not a thing as a Caymanian, because a Caymanian, we only use Caymanian because we from Cayman. When the Constitution says that a Caymanian means what the immigration law says it is. Now, the immigration law can be repealed, it can be amended anytime by a parliament. The next government can come in and can amend that law. But the immigration law says Caymanian is a person who has Caymanian status. So a person who has Caymanian status, who lives in some other country and comes here and gets it through marriage or through descent, is a Caymanian.
Because the law says.
Because the law says so.
Yes, sir.
Because the Constitution says that law says so. We have not carved it out.
Mm-hmm.
And just let me try to extrapolate that someplace else. In the electoral system, when they were negotiating the Constitution, the Cayman Brackers went there and says, we want Cayman Brack to have 2 seats, to guarantee 2 seats in the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Although under the one man one vote single member constituency system, they would not qualify because they do not have the numbers. East End and North Side didn't do that. So we are recommending that they do that quickly so that they don't have this problem every time the Boundary Commission meets again 8 years from now, 8 years from now, 8 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
But the Brackers saw they had some wise people then, and they saw where would happen. They know that this would come sooner or later.
They were protecting their interests.
And they were protecting their interests.
Mm-hmm.
But we have now protected Caymanian interests by saying this is what is a Caymanian.
Yeah. We went to great pains to create a preamble, which in itself is just that. Right? But we didn't do the same.
That's not part of our Constitution.
No.
It's just a preamble.
And now that the courts have ruled that our passport is akin to a travel document.
Exactly.
I think, with respect, as Caymanians, we thought Caymanian meant citizenship, with the understanding from what you're saying in the constitutional legal sense, it's really just vernacular that we apply for.
Exactly.
Ourselves.
Exactly.
So with that then, and this is maybe where, again, I always encourage by you, and not just where you share your instruction, but your encouragement to further our learning or knowledge or education so that we can talk from a considered perspective.
That's right.
The more that we understand, the more that we learn, the more that we need to learn to realize that we didn't know any more than we knew.
That's right. That's right. And going back to Mr. Billy's.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Billy's question. I have said so more than once. There is something in England called the Consumer Credit Act.
Mm-hmm.
In that act, they have provisions by the Parliament in England that gives the courts the power to regulate your mortgage. The banks cannot just come and say, "Oh, you're 3 months behind," and therefore we send you notice to pay, and you didn't pay, and can just sell your property even without going to court. That cannot happen in Great Britain. The Consumer Credit Act gives the courts the right to regulate your mortgage, even if they think it's oppressive. They can rewrite the mortgage, the courts. And they can adjust the mortgage under circumstances which you must convince the court that the courts so the courts can can deal with it on your side. For example,
mm-hmm.
You're paying £500 a month in England for a mortgage. Your husband died, or your wife died. She was working and you were working, or you got divorced, and now you can only pay the mortgage by yourself. You don't have the other spouse to pay the mortgage, and therefore you fall behind with the mortgage payment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The courts, when it goes to court, they have to go to court to get the court's permission to sell your property. The judge can say, okay, Mr. Sterling Ebanks was paying $500 a month. The situation has arisen now where he can only pay $250 a month. We are going to make an order that he pays $250 a month for the next 18 months or 12 months or 1 year. And after that, he comes back to court to see if the circumstances has changed. That's the power that the courts have. The courts do not have that power here.
Mm-hmm.
All the power rests with the institutions in which you borrow the money from. Okay, man. They can do anything once that demand, that's what I call a demand loan, once that demand on that money comes up and you can't pay, they can do that. I have been advocating to them. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. You can take those provisions that deals with mortgages out of the Consumer Act, Credit Act. Consumer Credit Act is called, and you can put them someplace. You can either add them onto the land law, the registered land law, or someplace like that, and you can use them.
Right.
So people have a remedy.
But maybe as you shared, and I'm so grateful, I recognize that there are not enough of us. A lot of us talk. They say talk is cheap. Thank you, sir, for the courage and the willingness to share, to ask us to question things. And maybe when we look at mortgages, perhaps the unfortunate thing is that we didn't appreciate what we have here. It is, as you said, akin to a demand loan, not what we understand a mortgage to be, where it's a fixed term with a repayable fixed amount over that defined period. Maybe if we had that, like we understand exists with the credit union,
yes. Some time ago, I discussed it with a few people who were then standing for election, and they couldn't believe that this remedy existed in England. Mm-hmm. And they said that would be a good thing, and I said that this would be a good thing to run on as a platform. And they asked me if I could rewrite it, take it out and rewrite it and draft it. And that's what I did. But I say you have to pay me. I say you have to pay me. I did the redrafting, and I say you can put it in this piece of legislation or that. And when I was supposed to meet them that morning with my proposal in my draft, I didn't see them. And so I still have that.
Well, it won't go to waste, sir.
No, it won't go to waste. I hope that somebody will ask me, and I can show them where to find it if they don't want to use me.
Yeah.
If they want to use somebody else, because that's what they usually do.
This is where if we would listen, maybe we would at least be cognizant of other things. We can choose not to follow, but at the very least we can't deny not knowing.
Yes.
Thank you, sir, for doing all you have publicly and privately. Your work just alone in these last two very significant undertakings, the Electoral Boundaries Commission and with the immigration matters relative to the point system. Hopefully the public now will see that work, engage, support where it's possible, question where necessary, but contribute from the community's perspective. And share.
And do what's the best interest for your people. If you love yourself, you will love your people.
Yeah, that's what's lacking. That love, self-love, and the love for others.
If you don't love yourself, how can you love your people?
Yeah.
And if you don't love your people, how can you love yourself? Because we came out of the same system, the same people here.
Yeah.
We're all one people, and I'm so happy that you allow me to share my knowledge with the people who wants to hear it or who wants to believe in it. That gives me great impetus. Sometimes before, I didn't have that. I didn't have that impetus, and I was always really pessimistic.
Well, I think sometimes circumstances define us in such a way that we become not just despondent and have a sense of despair, but sadly, I'm beginning to see it in many of us, sometimes reflected in the mirror, a level of apathy.
Yes.
And it's grown out of frustration that, just a caller earlier had a defeatist mentality, and they see it as a fait accompli.
Yes.
Let's not have that. Let's remain positive. Our children deserve it. Our parents deserve their respect because they sacrifice greatly. Thank you for being so courageous, because it is inspiring. I say this publicly, sir. I'm honored that we can sit in your presence, and I recognize, as you said, you don't have the blueprint of the intelligence. You're not the be-all and end-all, but you have courage and your willingness to share what you know. At the very least, if we listen, well, they say you can't unknow, you can't unring the bell.
Well, starting, I look at what happened to the Europeans when they came to the South America and the Central America and the Latin America. They thought that gold was the savior of the world.
Mm-hmm.
They had the gold, they took the gold, and look where they are now today.
Well,
I look at that.
Yeah, people may not know Europe's history, but there's probably many a war being fought almost on a daily basis.
Yes.
1,000 years Still the same. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for asking me, Sterling. I'll come anytime that you ask me.
Thank you for being so gracious.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, stay tuned because we're going to have some excellent music between now. All right. And then we have the midday news coming up. And then after that, I know this guy who's going to come back here. So you're going to have to join him. I'm going to be sitting in for that guy and talk today. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned for all the Radio Cayman has to offer.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio